While gasoline is pretty bad for the environment, it will take you as far as you want to go. On the other hand, electric vehicles are supposedly way cleaner, but once their batteries are depleted, that's it. You're stuck. By now, you already know about the Chevrolet Volt, GM's cure for range anxiety. Well, it's new all over again, and I've been testing it this week. Redesigned for 2016, this plug-in hybrid promises more of everything you want. Greater efficiency, enhanced electric-only range, and faster acceleration, all with a battery that actually contains fewer cells than before. Getting more from less, the heart of this car's propulsion system is an 18.4 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack. It's 21 pounds lighter than its predecessor, and all told, it offers an electric-only driving range estimated at 53 miles. A two-motor drive unit takes that stored energy and turns it into motion. This system is about 12% more efficient and a whopping 100 pounds lighter than before. As for output, those motors provide 149 horsepower and 294 pound-feet of torque, enough to make the Volt 7% quicker from 0 to 60, which now takes just 8.4 seconds. Once its battery is depleted, a 1.5-liter gasoline engine kicks in, giving you much greater range, up to 420 miles. As for efficiency, the 2016 Volt is rated at 106 mpge, that's miles per gallon equivalent. Running solely on gasoline, it should return 42 mpg, the old-fashioned kind. But back to the battery for a second. It takes 13 hours to be replenished from a standard 120-volt household outlet, but if you have a 240-volt charger, that time drops to just 4.5 hours, and it looks like this car is all full up, so why don't we take it for a spin? One of the first things you'll notice about driving the Volt is torque. It's pretty easy to squawk the front tires if you're not careful. Acceleration feels quite brisk, though it does taper off as vehicle speed increases. Adapting to varied conditions, 4 driving modes are offered. Normal provides optimal efficiency, while Sport increases throttle response at the expense of range. Mountain is designed for use in hilly terrain, while Hold mode preserves EV range by running the gasoline engine. The Volt has a solid, hefty feel since it weighs more than 3,500 pounds, about 405 of which is dedicated to that large battery pack. Now, luckily for us, much of that is low in the vehicle, so it does feel very planted. As for braking, the transition from regenerative to friction is smooth and easily modulated. Also, behind the left steering wheel spoke is the Regen On Demand button, which dramatically slows the vehicle down, storing lots of energy in the process. Now, when that battery is depleted, internal combustion, of course, takes over to keep you going down the road, but what's most impressive here is how imperceptible it is. The engine is so smooth, I can barely tell that it's running. As for usability, the Volt has room for 5 passengers, in theory. The middle position is largely useless thanks to limited headroom and a massive tunnel. Cargo space is unexpectedly generous at nearly 11 cubic feet. Finally, I've got to talk about the interior. It's essentially all hard plastic, but it doesn't look cheap. The graining is nice, and I particularly like this rich brown color, which pairs nicely with black. So, the Volt is plenty likable, but it's not perfect. Fat A-pillars do obstruct your forward visibility a little bit, plus I'm not a big fan of these front bucket seats. You see, the lower cushion is a little bit too close to the floor at the front, which makes me feel like I'm leaning forward. Don't care for that. Just to recap, I thoroughly enjoyed the Volt's potent torque, quiet operation, and overall efficiency. But as I just mentioned, I'm not a fan of its wonky buckets or fat roof supports. Oh, and you can add pricing to that list as well. This top-of-the-line Premier model cost $41,000. Fortunately, though, a much less richly appointed base version is a more reasonable 34 grand, and no matter which way you go, this car should qualify for a $7,500 federal tax credit, taking much of the sting out of those figures. So if you want to go all in on electric and range is a concern, well, the Chevrolet Volt here is tough to beat. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe to the AutoGuide.com YouTube channel to get all of our latest features and vehicle reviews. Okay, let's do this.
Yep, give me a clap.
We are going to win big. We are going to win big.
That's impossible.
Oh, sorry. I don't realize I snort sometimes when I talk.